Last week, we tried and somewhat failed to install an 8.5 by 30-foot sheet of luxury woven vinyl into our Airstream trailer. Join us this week as the struggles continue and we try to sort this mess out.
I'm going to start with a relief cut here so that it's as flat as possible. This piece will end up under the edge of the counter, and this should lay over into that area pretty much flat.
Allegedly.
In theory. The carpet was originally stapled along here. Seems like a screw with a washer is a decent way to kind of replicate that. That should hold it tight for any kind of pull down the trailer that we need to do to tighten up and get the wrinkles out.
Andrew's making a relief cut for the furnace so that the hump of fabric, carpet, whatever, lays into that corner over there.
That'll be enough to put the sill back.
Okay, and pin it in place.
Yep.
Yeah, well, thank God we didn't do stripes, buddy.
All right, I think I like the way that looks.
All right, what's next?
I'm gonna put the rivets back 5 across, and then we'll screw this down.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to pull, and it's kind of double screwed because it's inside and outside.
Okay.
I've taken a minute to put all 5 rivets in here before I tighten any of them, just to make sure this piece lines up right.
All the rivets have actually popped out as we were trying to get them in, so unsuccessful.
Gotta go 180 to get it
into the
place.
corner. Let's do that from inside the rig.
All right, I'll close the
screen. Okay. Watch your head. Are you happy with that placement?
I think so. I can't remember if it's supposed to touch there or if there's a little gap, but we're pretty much exactly where it needs to be.
Okay.
I think I'm ready to screw this down so we have as much kind of anchoring this end, and we've kind of worked all our wrinkles that way. The big ones anyway.
Okay. All right, let's do it. Haha, that shim you made a while back really does, it does work.
Just allows them to fit.
All right, well, we really only need to test the bottom drawer, but you may as well get the top one anyway.
All right, could you pull the glides? I'll set it around.
Yep.
Tight.
It is tight. Okay.
All right, that's one piece back.
Buddy, we've made progress.
Yeah, progress.
And it went well this part.
Yeah, all we need is 3 more days we don't have.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, let's deal with the corner.
I have a situation here where I've got a hard bottom on this cabinet. This bay doesn't have one. I'm gonna try to get carpet clean under it, and this bay doesn't have one, and the furnace intake. I'll need a clean carpet running back under, but for this one, I can make a relief cut so everything goes around and lays flat.
And let's see how that lays in front of the furnace.
All right, can you step on the corner there so we kind of pull?
Yeah, but there's tension. You see the tension? So we're just working this corner right now. We'll worry about we're worried about it all, but you know what I mean, right?
I think so.
You have to pull that piece out, please. Yep, and lay it up. Good.
Like bathtubs.
It's okay. That's okay, because we should relief cut how far you want this to go under the intake area. Because you can fine cut. You want me to stand on it?
So there's that.
Is there anything I can do to help? We've got a pucker right here.
I'm pulled tight down this line.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna make this relief cut here.
Okay.
That's just the air take. I gotta zip that off flat. I'm gonna do this one just about exactly the way I did the other one. I just need to be careful I don't catch a wire or anything because there's some wires on this side. I'm asking for trouble as far as cutting my hand goes. Shouldn't do it like that.
Okay, let's not do that.
Yeah. Got a little low here coming in, so I'm glad I stopped.
It's okay, it's all hidden behind heavy furniture. Although I guess this is good practice for where it's not.
It is. It is good practice.
This is gonna be a long video. And there's not a chance that at this hour we're going to finish today. We just have to get it so that I can stand at the standing desk and we'll have access to like the bathroom and stuff. Interestingly enough, we've seen the cuts that came out of this trailer, and I don't think in this specific area, we're not going to talk about the bedroom and bathroom in this way, but in this specific area, I don't think we're doing any worse than it was done previously.
I'm gonna go and get the corner piece that fits here, and we'll install that next.
Oh, hold on, I want to wipe that down.
I need to flip that down behind and then fish it through
Before we get anywhere close to.
We'll need cord management in here and duct management, but that's for another day. If you ever have to take these out, there is a bit of an order that you have to take them out. It'll be specific to your rig, but don't get frustrated. Sometimes you have to take out 3 to get 1 out.
Let's attack that.
Screwdriver. I don't want to jinx it, but I think I've got this figured out. I'm going to make a cut here, flip this under, and it's going to line that cabinet nicely. And it's already under over here. I think we're in good shape to make this look right. We're at the vertical trim piece. Now, we don't have a prayer getting this much under the fridge.
Right, so cut upwards to cut out the excess. So cut up to the ceiling.
Yeah. I need a relief cut that goes all the way to the floor to get this, to get the under.
I know. And I kind of needed to pin into that crevice somehow, which I feel like we need to relief cut, but leave a little bit of extra because then we're going to need to shim here. Yeah. Andrew He-manned, I didn't get it on camera, and I stuffed it under, the flooring under. And so now that space is kind of pinned in and we need to figure out this transition, lock this into place. That needs to get locked into place, and I think we need to come over here next.
This one's gonna be a tough one.
I think it's going to be tough. Not bathroom tough, but harder than this was.
This is difficult because it's heavily weighted to the front, and I'm trying to get it backwards without puckering the carpet. Can't lift without help.
Okay, I'll help you. And then how far forward did it have to be to still actuate beyond the handles?
When we started, I thought I saw that lift actuator against the wall.
Okay.
So I'm gonna check that, I think, once I think I'm there.
Okay.
Emptying every compartment for this project has showed us once again that we're carrying too much stuff, and we've got to do another round of downsizing because that'll be cheaper than buying a whole new truck.
That's true. Plus, I really like our truck.
Close, not quite yet. Close, not quite.
Do you want me to get on the back of it?
No, it's gotta go that way.
Okay.
Let's rivets really matching here gets me what I need. Just let me figure out why I won't.
The vent and the wires aren't in the way?
No, they're down free.
Then it could be the little fin at the back of flooring that we haven't fully cut off.
Yeah, where it touches over there might be doing it. Sometimes I've used shop clamps to squeeze the boxes together exactly where I need them so that I have a...
If we take these out, shore up the front into each other and then push it back, would that just change the order of operations a little bit?
Making a relief cut again. I'd like this to go under the cabinet deep enough to cover where the trash can goes all the way to the floor.
So it seems more finished in there?
It'll seem more finished in there, but then everywhere else we only need like 2 inches under. At least I think that's what we can get away with.
It's tedious, but it is working to have the material just sort of shimmy under.
Just have to work back and forth and back and forth.
I don't know if you guys can see, but we have been working the material under here and around the corner. It's a little bit puckered right here, but we're going to be able to slide it under, I'm confident. We've got everything sort of shimmed, but I think the next piece is going to be securing the door area because it's such a high traffic area. We want to make sure that it absolutely gets secured correctly and smoothly in relation to stuff going this direction.
This piece here is held in by 3 rivets essentially from the outside of the sill, and we're going to drill them out, put the carpet under, and try to find the room to put this trim piece back. I think it'll give a nice finished look here.
That came out.
Are you guys enjoying watching us struggle? Learn in real time?
Learn in real time.
Yeah, we're learning in real time today.
I think this is going to be a very important visual and comfort upgrade, despite the errors that we have made. So let's hope that's true, right?
I'm hoping all the discomfort now pays off in comfort later.
We are so sore, you guys.
Ow, my back.
We are so sore. Like our knuckles and our hands. Andrew's cut himself so many times. I can't even. All right.
I think it goes like...
Your little rubbery thing has slid off over there a little bit. It's been squooshed.
Rubbery thing back in place. Okay. I think we'll trim over here afterwards.
Okay. 3 rivets. Wait, do you want to use the grommeted screws under that? At least 2?
If the ruggables have taught me anything, this is the kind of squirreliest place for trying to keep the carpet down straight square. So I'm anchoring it. All right. Can you give me as much push as you can coming this way as I put the screw in?
Okay, so that's where this stands right now. It's coming. It's coming.
Thanks to My Air to Dream for sponsoring coffee for this week. Much appreciated.
We've been working our way along the front edge here with a series of shims, and we've been sort of leapfrogging them in and pounding them to the side to sort of get a smoother finish, which we sort of were able to do here. And this is just gonna have to release over time, and hopefully we'll be able to like flatten it and work it into the crevices.
And we're rapidly running out of weekend.
We definitely are. So, progress though has been made.
The floor install had to be a 2-part episode just because it is so much work. And to capture the scope of it, the things we've done good and bad, it just takes a lot of time. And we kind of want to share that with you, even if it leads to our own or my own embarrassment.
I don't think you should be embarrassed. This job was a colossal undertaking, and the way we're trying to do it is not the easiest way. We could have made a cardboard template and just tried to do the middle areas, but we're really trying to get the the material under things as much as we possibly can.
Modern Airstreams have luxury woven vinyl like this in many models, and it's installed before any of the cabinets and other furniture is built into place. And so because it's done a certain way, it gives it a nice clean look. And what we were trying to do was essentially fake that. And boy, is it hard. In some places we can get under the cabinets like here using shims and pry bars and such. And you'll see, I think, that it essentially looks like it should, like it's supposed to be that way. In other places it's very difficult. Over behind me, that's a good example. On this side, there's just too much extra material here for me to kind of carefully figure out what I need and to try to figure out how to get it under. So I think I'm just gonna relief cut it and leave myself just enough to go about an inch or two underneath the cabinets. Now, the difficulty with that is it's hard to know if I've messed up on the bathroom side and I need any extra, then I won't have it. So it's tough.
It's risky. This is kind of what we're talking about right here. See, I'm struggling. We have a relief cut in there, but it's sort of partially wedged under the door and under the frame. We just have too much fabric. We have to cut along the shower side to make some stuff easier to maneuver in here.
My goal here is to identify about 3 extra inches, and I've done that up to here. So I'm gonna keep cutting on this line.
That's a big piece of material, Andrew. Are you sure? Because we've messed up the bathroom now several times.
Yeah, I believe this is extra.
Actually, if you can cut that nicely, it might make a nice runner.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We've hacked off so many pieces that I'm starting to feel bad about it. But let me get to the back here and we'll push it against and see if that line gives us, you know, kind of a few inches extra. Yeah, if you put it kind of foot there, and then we should be able to cut on this line, which I think is where we're at going down there. Sometimes you just have to kind of turn yourself on your head and see this stuff right. I don't know.
Yoga. Airstream yoga. Would it be better to start in the bedroom and cut towards me over here?
I don't think so, because I think I want to go on that.
On that one, okay.
Already that I have. And then once we get to the end of this wall, that's where our seam's going to be. Has to be.
Yeah, and we have to have a seam in the bathroom as well.
We're working multi-dimensional. See? Looks like I'm... Yeah.
Feels more like Mission Impossible, buddy.
This is Mission Impossible. If somebody asked me again if I would choose to accept this mission, I might say no.
Yeah.
Thinking back, one of the most hysterical things about this project is I thought we could get away with doing the stripes like this originally had, basically a couple inches wide down the whole trailer.
It had tan with like a cream teak look stripe down it.
Thinking back on that, there's no way on earth.
The material was thinner though. We have picked a more plush one like we had in the 2006.
Might have been easier to work with, but wow, yeah. I don't know if I could have done it.
We could have done the click lock type vinyl plank or whatever that's called.
Yeah, I believe that would have been pretty straightforward by comparison.
Would it have been as nice? I don't know. We really liked the light color. This color is actually called canvas. It will never be this bright white, light cream, tan, gray, silver color ever again, probably, with us. The great news is it is cleanable, scrubbable, bleachable, waterproof if you keep away from the edges. And like once a year, we used to like deep clean, scrub to really clean out everything as just sort of another maintenance project. Ooh, this is getting heavy for me to hold up. I'm detached over here, so let me pull this out of the way.
Slightly.
For better or worse, and you've nicked the finish slightly.
Slightly.
I'm gonna roll this up. It's too big of a piece to not take really good care of.
We can't save everything. Made a lot of doormats today. Doormat size cutoffs, but this one might be worth saving.
If you could get the edge finished like they do on like super yachts,
kind of a sewn
edge. It would actually almost, I don't know, you'd still have a very clean look in the center here. And it would protect from, well, just call it kitchen debris.
Yeah. Do you want me to cut you a strip and tie a knot around this?
No.
No?
It's just gonna live here for a while until we decide what we're gonna do with it.
I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I really love Wago connectors.
Made disconnecting that beeping mess way easier.
Yeah, when I realized I could get to the Wagos to stop the beeping, it was I was a lot happier. Probably gonna go through its rituals.
It did not like being covered by the flooring.
Next area I'm going to deal with is right here behind me at the fuse panel. It's really hard to calculate and figure out the relief cuts to get that all to lay flat and not wind up missing a bit of material. But we're going to try that.
Do you want me to hold that piece vertical up the bathroom wall door area?
Yeah, I got to re-familiarize myself with what was wrong over here.
We have a lot of puckering because of the tension of the 90-degree
Yeah.
on that little bulkhead.
And the main issue is I can't just cut off what goes past here because I have to have a piece that lays back at the bottom of the partition area, and I don't want to mess that up. So I'm kind of, it's challenging. Let's put it that way. It's challenging, and I feel mentally challenged.
This is such a hard project.
I'm so tired. Another doormat. Made another doormat.
Yeah.
I think I figured it right there already. I've got it refigured here. I'm gonna go with this one.
Give yourself excess because you can't put the material back, and I have tons of excess in the bedroom.
All right, let's go here. How deep? About how far down should I cut? I think
well,
it goes back.
Yeah, so I'm less concerned about the hole and more concerned about how this looks out in the open space.
Yeah.
So let's worry about getting that flat first. Yeah, so we need to smooth that out just a little bit. Let me get some weight there. Go ahead, pull. Yep, good, keep going, yep, excellent. Okay. Stop. Don't go down anymore. Cut the fin off. Test it.
It's close and it's long.
That's okay, as we need a really clean cut there, or the vacuum's gonna eat it. Stop. Test it. Here you go. Okay. So let's cut another strip off of this. Make it
Like
the fin half as big. So do you want to cut that little tail off or just leave it for now and come back?
I'm gonna leave that for now and come back. What I'd like to see is it kind of bump up into.
Okay.
What I gotta get rid of is this little bit here.
Careful.
There's excess there and it's bumping backwards, but
That's okay, right?
I think so. I'm gonna cut off this.
We know we can't lift this piece here. So we know we need to cut that super cleanly.
Mm-hmm.
What is our strategy for that? The level? We can cut the little tongue off later when we know what we need.
So there's that. Should we cut it to 1 inch high as we massage it down?
That's up to you.
2 inches high?
We need excess to make sure.
We got this corner about 90% right, working the material in, but it was bunching up. We had to make relief cuts back over here to allow the material to move in. So I'm gonna concentrate on working right here, by which I mean I'm gonna move down over this way, get myself some lift here, lift the cabinet all the way down, and then I can get it under. So point is, you gotta work backwards, forwards, forwards, backwards to get this the way you want it.
But not too far forwards, because then you can't...
You might make a decision that doesn't work backwards.
Correct.
Clear as mud. Sorry, but I'm trying.
So we just kind of
So
hopscotch them along.
Okay, so there's a problem here. There's a problem here. Feel this.
That's not in. There you go.
I'm pretty frugal. Some might say cheap. my wife might say cheap. But I bought several of these so that I can just get out a fresh one and use a fresh one. Don't fight with a dull one, because you will.
Particularly with fine cuts.
Yeah. I don't want to blame the tools, but if you've got a dull one, you are more likely to make a mistake. But also I make a mistake by myself sometimes.
Don't go too far. You know what makes you feel real married? Backseat cutting.
Mm-hmm. Trying to straighten a bad cut, it's a challenge. Do you think you can weight this so I can hold kind of one end, and I'll have you hold here while I cut?
Sure.
It's like the first foot I've got that's actually cut tightly so far. That's the first corner
That you're happy with?
that I'm actually happy with. It's been, should have done
It's
one
been
for practice lesson.
It's been frustrating, guys.
I think it's time to take the shims out here, and we may need to use them again if we don't like the alignment, but so this is pinned down in space. I'm gonna have this, if I lift, you can pull. Yep, pull 4 there, and then I'm gonna move the bars down, okay?
Okay.
The reason I walk down smaller and get the bars out is so that the bar, when I just yank it out, doesn't peel the finish back. So I kind of walked it down to different heights.
Or the flooring out from underneath.
That too. That too. Abundance of caution.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the last things I have to do, keeping in mind that most of the trim work is not done, is make sure this bathroom door is going to be operable for tomorrow. So, well, let me show you kind of how I got to work on this.
Fabric is actually blocking the bottom of the bathroom door, so it doesn't operate correctly. So what's your plan for that?
I've got to very carefully identify what's going to flop in, because we're going to do a transition essentially directly below the door to be a transition into the
You want to
bathroom.
open that door all the way out and
Yeah,
all the way
yep.
flat against.
So this is the bulky material we have here, and we're going to put a transition piece right here. So this is extra, but I need to be careful about overcutting it.
But the first step is to make it so that it flops into the bathroom flat. The door will open and close. Words are hard.
Yep. We want to get the flap down so the door closes. I just don't want to miscut on the edges, so I've really got to look at that carefully to make sure I don't overcut. We're going to cut over here to give you lay flat down into the corner, and then when I cut this piece, it will come in.
Right.
And then we'll make this mate better.
When the time comes.
Right, because one of the things we don't have to do is worry about right here, because it's going to be under the transition.
Okay.
So now we can think forward from, well, this is kind of ugly. What is the actual problem we can solve here?
Okay.
And we're gonna try to solve the problem. Imagine that my trim strip for the transition is exactly under the level. So what I've done now is carefully cut just a hair long at the corners, and I've got about 3 inches over. So I should be able to match a very nice cut once I've gone around the bathroom and laid this all down flat. I'm about to cut at the bottom of the green wall here, and there's a little bit over towards this corner that isn't perfect, but there is a trim board that goes up and down. So I am hoping to get it good enough that I can get it flat, flush, looking good along this big green stretch, and then in the corner, that trim board will hold it down and everything will look right. Here's the final at the base of that wall. The trim piece here covers most of that bottom seam, holds it down, gives us a nice anchor point, and I'm happy with how that's doing. We're gonna have to come back and figure out this door though. It'll be impossible to film, so I'm not really gonna bother you too much with the details, but there's a panel here that covers, and it's gonna go down and cover the seam around the toilet. I've got a ton of excess kind of running back up the wall behind the toilet. I'm just gonna have to kind of fight my way down there and trim it tight to the wall, much like I did on the other side. And not much of it's gonna show anyway, because it'll be up under the panel and behind the toilet. Not too much to see here. Just a quick fly through the toilet area. Now we have a floor in here. I think I have to call it for today. Maybe tomorrow after work I'll try to get a little more done, but about it for right now. Every day this week after work, we've tried to make progress on the flooring. And to be clear, there's some areas we're pretty happy with, and I'd like to show you some of those now. Where it goes under the cabinets, there's a lot of places like this, and we're pretty happy with how it came out. Here in the bedroom, I was pretty happy with how these cuts actually came out. And then the original flooring that we removed was actually held down by these trim strips, which by some chance we saved. We've had them for, well, over a year now, kind of kicking them around in the way. But point being, we saved them. They cost about $5 a foot. And so we've got a good stretch that we can reuse on this side and the other side in the bedroom. But even if I didn't have the trim strip, I'm pretty happy with how these cuts came out. I haven't put this down yet. I'd like to get some clean white screws to just finish the look of it. In front of the shower here, this is a cut seam, and I feel like it lays pretty nicely. I think this particular area went well. I haven't committed to cutting here yet, but this is a basic transition strip that we're thinking will make the transition from the bathroom to the hallway. My plan was to use this transition strip material, possibly, here in the doorway. Now we got this, it was only about 20 bucks, and kind of want to test it, see how it looks, and see what it does for us before we make the final cuts. Not 100% sold on it yet. We got this trim strip at a big box store, and I guess the issue with those type of supplies is the scale may be off. This may be too big, and we may have to take to the internet to find something that looks better here, but for $20 we thought we'd give this one a try. We are very happy with the bathroom. Toilet seam here properly under, everything under the cabinet itself, and coming around, I was able to make a nice cut here on this line, right up to where it goes underneath the trim. And that's all been to the good. And then run underneath the water line there and cut smooth at the wall. That piece has also gone pretty well. So let's talk a little bit about the bad. Right here, we've got about 8 inches that was just more than I can handle. And you can see that I've got a little bit of overcut and some shapes that I just couldn't figure out with the carpet laid up in 3 dimensions. And so when it laid back, it just doesn't look right. Some of you may look at this and think, that's not too bad. And some of you may be appalled. And basically the way I see it is, with this type of miscut, the vacuum's gonna catch all this stuff, and it's just gonna look worse and worse over time. Main issue here is that we need to have a transition in place that covers this seam where this piece butts, and I can cut them together so there's almost no gap between the edges of the carpets. But the issue is that this is not straight and square across here. The wall's not parallel, and it's really hard to find a spot where that trim piece looks right. That's my biggest challenge right now. To the person in the comments who suggested we use a template, that was also something Shauna brought up early on, and ultimately I did veto that idea. If I had it to do over again, I'd probably use that. If you're going to do this project yourself, use shims. Shauna had done a bit of research about that, and I should have been prepared with them right when we started. We kind of used a couple shoes and such for the bed area. At any rate, the shims would have really helped us minimize some frustration at the beginning. But well, let me show you kind of how this plays out in my mind. For all of the distance we have here, what shows over here, if there's 100 feet of linear distance where you see a seam around this trailer, there's only about 3 to 5 feet that really look bad. I guess what I mean to say is it's frustrating that I really didn't meet my own expectations for myself for being able to complete this project in a way that I'm happy with. Not really trying to be over dramatic. I guess some flooring is better than no flooring. It's just that I'm out of time for this week, and we're gonna have to do a final reveal of that bathroom area transition and bedroom transition next week when I can get it finished. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week. If you've got any ideas for helping us trim this out, please weigh in the comments.
We know your time is valuable. Thank you for being here. We'll see you guys next week.